All right, giving this a take two. Very excited, waiting for my guest to join here tonight. And obviously, I've been spending a lot of time talking to people about cryptocurrency, about Bitcoin, and really just trying to educate people about number one, what it is, number two, why it's here to stay, and number three, why I'm so incredibly passionate about this. So, I am going to add my guest to this call, and it looks like it's connecting, and I'm really excited for him to share how he was able to go from a full-time job to being in crypto full-time in not a very long period of time. Hey, Jake.
What's going on? Well, I'm trying to plug
No
my phone in
problem.
here.
I know we were trying to go from the laptop before, and I was just on the other webinar as well, so good job with that.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Glad to have me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so I would love for you, because I think one of the misconceptions for people around in the crypto world, in addition to many others, but in terms of actually making money in this space, is that you have to be, a financial expert or something like that. So can you maybe just share a minute on your background?
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell you this much: you don't have to be a financial expert or have a Series 7 to trade anything or whatever. I mean, for the last 10 years, I've been in the power industry as an industrial electrician, and kind of fell into that after a short kind of career in the Navy as well. And I really enjoyed my job. I didn't mind it. I got paid really well for my age. But there was having to work 60 to 80 hours a week. It kind of got old. Cutting into time with my family, time with doing what I wanted to do, being kind of stuck in a job or stuck in a position, and really kind of being limited on, where you could go. And everybody always has that dream of, financial freedom. And I didn't see myself getting there in the spot that I was
Awesome.
in.
Yeah, that's definitely a common story for entrepreneurs, which is so cool. And I didn't mention this before, but you've been super helpful, not only in helping me get started in different realms of crypto, but just in terms of being helpful in answering questions and being inspiring with your story. So how did you first get into cryptocurrency?
Well, it actually was kind of weird. I started working online as online marketer about a year and a half ago, and I started noticing in my back office of a lot of these different programs that I was able to accept payment or for commissions or whatnot in Bitcoin. So I was like, okay, I kind of looked into it a little bit more and found out that it was cheaper than PayPal. So I was like, hey, why not? So I wound up going that route, and I had absolutely no knowledge of it other than I could take it and it was cheaper than PayPal, and then I would just convert it to cash and put it back into marketing or whatever else.
So that was your first exposure. I guess what was the turning point for you in really starting to look at this almost as a career? And did you have any hesitations going into that?
Everybody always kind of has hesitations whenever they're stepping into kind of uncharted waters, but the real power that I saw with it, or kind of the turning point that made me look at it more, was when I first started being able to accept it. It was 700, 800 bucks, $600, and then it hit 1,000 and 2,000, 5,000, 6,000, and it just kept rising. I'm like, wow. So then it was at that point I really started looking at, kind of the underlying technology, the blockchain, and what all the usefulness of it was. And once I kind of went down that, 2 week rabbit hole of YouTube videos and finding out other experts that are in the field and listening to them and attending meetup groups, it started to open up my eyes on really, it wasn't just like a forum to accept payment. I mean, it was literally a revolutionary technology that allows you to send money all over the world without having a third party involved. And once you kind of understand how big that is and how kind of you know shaking it is to the industry, especially the banking industry as a whole. I mean, it really just opens your eyes as to what's possible with
Yeah,
it.
I totally agree. It was all that kind of the humanitarian causes that it supports, that makes me most excited about this. And I think that's where people start to fall short. They listen to what other people are saying about Bitcoin, or they see something in the news, or they read an article, and then they, just take that for fact and reality without actually doing some research and understanding that, saying Bitcoin is just about payments is like saying the internet is just about email, and that the implications are so much bigger, and it really helps to build your belief. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. And so you kind of were first exposed to Bitcoin from accepting payment standpoint. Can you just share a little bit about your journey from that time to where you are today?
So I obviously went through that whole transition and then increased my knowledge on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space as a whole. And it was at that point I started diving in and really kind of looking for more. And then wound up getting behind a couple of really strong companies and businesses that I'm involved with now, that teach you everything that I found on YouTube over the course of a couple months. I could have, just found it over the course of a couple of days or weeks of just studying from what they offer. And it was really at that point that I kind of had the shift in my attitude, because everybody that winds up getting online to potentially supplement their own income, or they see the dreams of like the laptop lifestyle per
Right.
se. Um, they get into that, and then they don't see the entire picture. They realize that, hey, I have to recruit. This is a sales job, or anything to that effect. Well, once you get involved in the crypto space and you understand what you're doing, whether it's on the trading side or the
Mm-hmm.
mining side, I mean, it's truly a business that can replace your income like it did with mine, and I don't have to tell anybody
Mm-hmm.
about it. Now, does the affiliate marketing side, or the recruiting side, is it a bonus? Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, we all are in sales one way or another. If you go to a restaurant that you absolutely love, of course you're going to tell
Right.
everybody about it. Or if you go see a movie that was phenomenal, you're going to say, "Hey, you guys need to go check this out. It was awesome." And it's the same kind of thing. I was capable of walking away from my job. I'm a slave to no one of having to get up and do the 9 to 5 hustle that everybody does, and I can still put food on my table for my family, and I've been able to replace my income. And so I mean, it really gives you the power to take back control of your own life and write your own ticket. As long as I got Wi-Fi and a computer, then I'm pretty much good to go.
Yeah, and it's a great point to kind of talk about it from that standpoint too, for all the skeptics, right? Like if you think about even 10 years ago, I have almost all virtual businesses as well. That wasn't even a thing. It wasn't a possibility. So why would we believe that having a full-time income in the crypto space isn't a possibility? Just because this is new doesn't mean it's not real, right?
Yeah,
I,
absolutely. And I mean, people always say, well, it's just digital currency. It can disappear at any time. Well, I mean, if you think about it, we've been pretty much getting subjected to digital currency for as long as we've had the internet. Because if you look at your bank account, it's pretty much all ones and zeros. The majority of Americans or people around the world, they don't even handle fiat currency, or the currency that's handed out by their governments anymore. It's all just via debit card or credit card or whatever. So I mean, we've been on this same path. Now we just have a better system in place to be able to cut out the additional fees, and it's non-inflationary. So I mean, it's a very powerful system that it really gives people the power back.
Yeah, and that's again, that's kind of my favorite part. And there's an illusion in terms of safety and security of our money and our assets right now. And it's easy for people to forget that here in the US, we were hours from ATMs not working anymore, back in 2008, and how close we were and how on the brink we were. And so I think it's really important that we educate people on the fact that this is a real thing, that it's here to stay, and for all the reasons that you just covered, all the reasons I've covered before. So it's just a really exciting space to be in. And I think, I mean, I don't know if you agree, but I think we're kind of with crypto where the internet was in maybe 94 or 95, where people were starting to kind of use it. I was on AOL Instant Messenger, I think in 94. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right now, even with the massive price level that we hit at the end of last year, and the 70% correction, I mean, we're still in the infancy of this currency. if you look at, how long gold's been around or how long any currency for any government's been around. I mean, Bitcoin's been around since 2009. So less than 10 years, and we only have 1% of the entire population of the world that's involved in Bitcoin right now. So just imagine when we have 2% or 5%. And it's going to be really powerful. And a lot of people don't realize, if you have so much faith in your banks, look at what happens to any country whenever there's an economic collapse. If you have money in your savings account or your checking account or your safety deposit boxes, look at Greece. Do you think when their whole economy shut down that you were able to go get money out of the bank? No, you couldn't. So, I mean, by looking at cryptocurrency, even if you have no desire whatsoever to, replace your income, it's a smart move just in case the worst of the worst happens.
Absolutely. And, we're lucky enough to live in a country where it's less likely to happen, but we've come pretty close to it before. So, I think this is certainly the future, and I'm really, really excited about it. Well, maybe I'll ask that next. Okay, so maybe if you could talk just a little bit about how you were able to transition out of a job and into doing this full time, maybe like describe just a little bit about how you're actually making money in this space.
Yeah, so like I said, for the last year and a half, I've been in online marketing, just doing different affiliate marketing, network marketing businesses. And I never really found anything that I said, hey, this is it. This is what's going to be able to take me to that next level. This is what's going to be able to retire me from my job until cryptocurrency. And it goes back to the part of, you don't have to recruit. I didn't have to recruit. I didn't have to tell anybody about this. So the two primary sources of income for me are cryptocurrency trading and cryptocurrency mining. And the trading alone, from what I'm able to do on a daily basis, was what I based on me being able to walk away from my job comfortably. And I was able to make more than I was previously making. So I said it's a no-brainer. And then at that point, it's, a lot of people, they're scared and fear comes into play a lot. We're scared of the unknown. We're scared of not having that guaranteed paycheck next week, or whatever fear or scared that a lot of people have. And what a lot of people don't realize is that when you get into this space, not just crypto, but online marketing or whatnot, it's really not about any of that. It's about personal development and learning how to become more so you can have more as a person. And really, once you go through that kind of mindset shift, I mean, a lot of the fear and a lot of the scaredom that a lot of people have, it really goes away. And it wasn't until that point when kind of, the universe brought everything together for me that I was, I had the warm and fuzzy and I said, I can do this. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Big
that's
time.
awesome. Just having that abundance mentality and really working on yourself. And I know that's something you're big on, given that I, get on your webinars on Sundays. So I think that's awesome. And how long did it take you after really getting involved in the trading and the mining to actually be able to leave your job?
I started trading seriously the beginning of September of 2017. And it took me 3 months to realize that I was capable of replacing my current income at my previous job. And it was like literally 2 months later that I said, hey, let's do this.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just so everyone knows, I'm actually, Jake has kind of introduced me, Jake and some others, to the same platform that he's using. So I'm really excited about that. I like probably most people who are watching, I don't have a background in finance and day trading and reading charts. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so I mean, it kind of goes back also to what I said when I first found out about Bitcoin. I mean, it was just another way to accept payments, and I didn't know what an exchange was. I didn't know really what a wallet was, how to set one up, what was different. And I mean, if you guys check, it's the hat that I'm wearing. iCoin Pro is the platform that Nicole's talking about that we're both involved with. That's where you really learn the ins and outs. I mean, they break it down to where there's no confusion, and they don't try to make it overcomplicated. Oh, you got to learn all of this and that and the other. I mean, no, it's like the A, B, C, D, and then that's it. And people are like, there's no way it can be this simple. And it's like, no, it is. You're just making it more complicated than it
Yeah,
actually is.
yeah, that's awesome. And it's good for, people like me or like others to hear that you don't have to be an expert in this to actually make it work. And the fact that you made it work within 3 months is a pretty powerful testament to what can happen when you just commit to learning and doing something.
Yeah, absolutely. And by no means is my story the kind of track record that everybody else can expect. I mean, there's always going to be different situations and different people in different circumstances. But at the end of the day, no matter what you're doing, you can make it work if you want it to. It all comes down to mindset and the belief. And if you don't believe it, then you just don't understand it enough. So that's why the education and the mindset and the personal development, they all tie in so well together. And once you've pretty much gotten that to where you need them to, everything else just kind of, fills it
Yeah,
in.
totally. And that's why, when I'm out business networking, when I'm sharing about crypto with people, I never go, hey, have you thought about buying some Bitcoin, right? Like that's never the starting place. It's really about, have you heard of cryptocurrency? What do you know? Here's how it's going to change the world. And I've had this conversation with so many people over the last couple of days. And every time it has been the first time that people saw the future vision for, I talked about this in a video the other night, for the other 6 billion who don't get to live the way that you and I do. And so it's really giving them that global perspective. Plus obviously implications with the smart contracts and artificial intelligence and, all the things that are going to happen, implications on the sharing economy and all the things we're going to see happen, I think probably pretty soon. I mean, the next decade is going to be really interesting, but it's really leading with that education piece. So I totally 100% agree. So what's next for you in terms of crypto, and where do you see this whole market going?
Well, since I've gone full time in the crypto space, I've actually had some phenomenal doors open and opportunities present themselves. I'm actually going to be on a crypto trading reality TV show. We just got done filming the first part of it, and I'm sure you guys are going to see more of that as we start to come out with more stuff and we get more of the scheduling down. But that's really exciting. I think that's going to really open the door for a lot of people. And, unfortunately, a lot of people wound up getting involved in the crypto space when CNN and Fox News and, CNBC were all talking about it, and the price ticker was on there. And, they bought in from the FOMO, fear of missing out. And they bought in at the top, and then it sank. And then at that point, now you have hundreds of thousands of people. They're like, oh, this is a scam. This is garbage, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm sorry for anybody that possibly is watching this that got in at the top, but trust me, it's going to be going back up
Yeah.
very soon. With their only 21 million Bitcoin ever going to be allowed in circulation, and we've I think just passed
Mm-hmm.
17 million, and I mean we only have, like I said, 1% of the entire population of the world that's involved. So basic supply and demand from economics is that as supply is finite and goes down, demand in the price is going to increase. So even if you wanted 21 million of the millionaires in the world to just own one Bitcoin, that's not going to be possible. So that's why they can break Bitcoin down into, 8 decimal points, just like the dollar gets broken down into two
Mm-hmm.
decimal points as a cent. So, I mean, everybody's capable of having fractional ownership of Bitcoin. And back to one of your things that you had mentioned whenever you're out talking to people, is that I don't even really ask, hey, have you heard about crypto? Are you involved in crypto? Usually it's
We
the
both
shirts
we
and
both
stuff
have
that I
that.
wear. I mean, exactly. It's great marketing because everybody's like, oh, that Bitcoin thing. Yeah, I've heard about that. And, that just really starts a conversation, and you just start talking to them, find out what they know. And then at that point, it's like, hey, do you have any Bitcoin yet? And they're like, no, I don't. Well, here, let me send you $5 or $10 worth. And then, so now at that point, they feel like they have some skin
Mm-hmm.
in the game. And every single day, help them set up a wallet. And every day when they look at that wallet, that $5 or $10 that you sent them, they're going to see, oh, the price went up. Oh, the price went up. Oh, the price went down. Oh, man. And so that makes them feel like they're more involved. And then they have the ability to buy more Bitcoin or look at it more. And they'll never forget that you were that person that first introduced them to it. So, I mean, it's a really powerful tool. And who knows, that $10 could turn into like $100 in a
I
couple of years.
know, I
So
know. That's very. I've given a couple of people Bitcoin as gifts, and they think I'm crazy, and they probably don't. pay attention, but they will one day. So, so you mentioned that supply and demand, that we've already crossed 17 million Bitcoins released, that the availability is decreasing. Can you speak just for a moment on the urgency that people need to feel if they want to get involved with this from an investment standpoint?
Yeah, so I mean, right now, I think I always have the charts pulled up, but right now, I think the price is, around $10,455 for Bitcoin. At the absolute peak, we saw just a little bit under $20,000. Now, from an investment standpoint, yeah, it's a great opportunity to just buy, hold, and see what that could potentially turn into. But if you want to kind of multiply that or have more skin in the game, and really, instead of, I like to equate it with, you can either buy the golden egg, which is Bitcoin, and once you have that, you can just kind of put it away in a wallet and forget about it and come back to it in a couple months or a couple years and look and see what the price is at. Or you can buy the goose that actually lays the golden egg, and that's where you learn how to multiply that Bitcoin either through trading or through mining, which we're both involved in. And what that is that allows you to have more of an active role in the community. And anytime that you're more actively involved in something, you're going to be more attuned to want to learn more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm excited about the trading, but I think the mining is such a smart decision. I think the statistic is if you mine, you'll have, at the same time period, we do 1,000-day contracts. At the same time period, you'll have anywhere from 2 to 8 times the Bitcoin you would have had if you just bought and held. So 5 Bitcoins sounds better than 1 Bitcoin to me, especially when they're over $100,000, as I think they will be in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I got 1 Bitcoin stashed away so that way I never touch it. And then that way when, if we ever are lucky enough to see Bitcoin hitting $1 million, then hey, I'll be a millionaire. But at least my hopes is to be a millionaire long before then.
I have no doubt you will be first. So if anyone has questions, feel free to post. I see tons of comments coming through, which is so cool. What would you say to people who are, because I know I've talked to a lot of people. I know that there are a lot of people out there who are like, yeah, I'm interested in this. I might do something with it, but not today. I'll think about it tomorrow. And then they kind of keep putting it off, or maybe they're a little bit hesitant or there's fear in the back of your mind. What would you say to those people?
Well, I'll tell you guys a funny story. So there's one of my best friends that lives just down the street from me. I've known him for a couple of years now, and I've been talking to him ever since Bitcoin was like $1,000. And he's always like, Jake, what are you doing on your phone? I'm like, hold on, I'm checking some of my trades and different stuff that I'm doing. And he's like, so what's Bitcoin at today? And that's kind of an ongoing running joke with us. And I've talked to him every single week from the time that Bitcoin was $1,000 all the way up till it was almost at 20,000. And one of the common things is, oh, I should have bought in. I should have bought in. Well, quit saying you should and just do it, because you're never going to actually take action and do it until you do it. And, you can sit on the sideline and say, oh, it's a scam or it's this, that, and the other. But if you don't have any skin in the game, you don't have any voice. So you can say whatever you want and it's not going to hurt. I mean, what's the worst that happens? You invest money that hopefully you don't intend, or, whatever happens to it, that you're not going to invest money that you're wanting to lose, or
yeah, it's the rule of any investment.
But exactly. But I mean, right now is the best time because, like I said, we're at $10,000 per Bitcoin right now. We hit $20,000 for the peak last year, and I mean, the sky's the limit. There's all sorts of different talks that we could potentially hit $50,000 by the end of the year, or $100,000. I mean, it's really just a matter of mass adoption. The more people that start to get involved, the more people that start to understand how powerful this technology is and how useful it is, then the more the price is going to get driven up.
Yeah. And with, without going into details, the halving event coming in 2020, so we're going to be having less Bitcoin mined versus what we have going now. And, with the price predicted to go up 100, 200,000, it's going to be really hard to use that as an investment. It'll be great because it'll be mass adoption for transactions and whatnot. But in terms of investment, I think the time is right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you have to think about it. If you want to get started with the mining side of it, why would you not want to get started earning it now? So then that way, anything that you could potentially earn By the time Bitcoin does hit 20, 50, $100,000 per Bitcoin, now you actually have some that you have coming in passively every
Mhm.
single day, and you don't have to worry about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So that's all my questions. But if anybody has questions, feel free to post them here, reach out to one of us. And if you are actually interested in moving forward on one of these opportunities, whether it be trading, whether it be mining, reach out to us because we can certainly help point you in the right direction, and have a little bit of urgency about it too. Because yes, you'll always be able to buy Bitcoin, but it's not going to be what it is right now. This would be like you investing in the internet companies or Facebook, or Uber or whatever in the very, very early days before there was mass adoption. So now is the time. I'm seeing just one thing here. Lola says, I keep running into older people wanting to invest, but no trading part of it. Just put the money up and not work for it themselves. Yeah, which is fine. Actually, it's, if you want to be totally passive with this, you don't have to trade. That's, it's a great place to mine, right? You can certainly buy and hold too, but again, I want to multiply my Bitcoin. So yeah, cool. Anybody else? All right. Well, I hope you guys learned something, and I hope that you are inspired by this, by somebody who, granted, results not typical, right? Just a little disclaimer there, but somebody who has really taken this seriously, who is spreading the good word about what this really is, why it's here to stay. And what can you tell us more about the TV show, or is that under wraps?
I got to keep kind of hush hush
Okay,
about that
cool.
right
So,
now.
can you give us like a title of the show? No. Oh man.
Nope.
Okay. So no title, no network. Well, we'll keep you posted on that. Yeah. So awesome. Well, I'm sure we will do something like this again. I know you and I are both in this space to help as many people as possible. So thank you for jumping on with me tonight and sharing, and hope you and everyone else have a great night.
It was a pleasure. Thanks for having me on. And anybody that's watching this, definitely get back with Nicole and get any information that she has about whatever questions you have. She is definitely a resource of knowledge. So don't take it for granted. Get started.
Awesome. All right, cool. Thank you so much for the kind words, and hope everyone has a fantastic night.